I want to walk you through using a couple of these sources from the library. Show you exactly how to go about using these tools, Academic Search Complete and Opposing Viewpoints, and the advantages to them and some of the perks from using them. So let's go into the let's go to the BCTC website and click. Oh, they've changed things here. So they've changed it since I made the thing just the other day. So let me scroll down and find a library tab. See if they have a library tab. Okay, I'm not seeing that. And so now that they've gotten rid of, okay, current students is now under quick links. So now I can scroll down and find that tile of the library. And again, skip over this search engine at the top of the page so that you have a little more control. Go to Academic Search Complete. And in this, we're going to get our search boxes up at the top of the page. And so several things I want to show you here that you can click to help filter your search. So let's say we want to look at plastic pollution. Okay, so plastic pollution, maybe even plastic bags, plastic pollution in the ocean, plastic straws. Let's just start with something as broad as plastic pollution. Now I can go ahead and search for this, or I can first decide that I want to do some limits. So I can make these limits, set these limits on this page or on the next. But here is what I'm talking about, where it says limit your results to full text. Okay, if I click that here, then what I will get on the next page is just sources that I can access, which is what I want. I'm going to not click it and show you what happens. So I'm going to click search, and what comes up then is it has found 1,624 sites, sources for us. And so I'm going to scroll down through here, and what I am going to look for first is whether I have access to it as HTML full text or PDF full text. Because if I don't have access in one of those ways, then I probably can't access the article. So here's one. It just says search KCTCS library catalog. That means I would have to check and see if any of the other colleges have it, and then I could contact them. I could put in an interlibrary loan request, and that could take several weeks to get processed if they have it at all. And so that's just not really a good option for me unless if I'm doing something for my own personal research and I don't have a time limit on it, I might do that. So instead, I'm going to click that full text, either on the previous page or here. And it's going to drop our 1,624 down to 396. And that's plenty of sources for me. So now let me show you the difference between, I'll just show you several other things on the page. Sometimes your teacher will tell you that he or she wants specific kinds of sources, and so you can limit those here. So a teacher may say, I want you to use 2 journal articles, 1 magazine article, 1 newspaper article. So you can select that way by choosing the source type. You also can select a date. So the teacher may say, I want sources from only the last 5 years. Then you're going to drag this in so that it's just from the last 5 years, okay? And that will limit how many sources you have. And so you can take those kinds of actions. You're in control of that when you do your searches. The next thing to think about is there are these 2 full text options. There's the HTML and there's PDF. Of those 2, PDF is the preferable one. The reason for that is it is like a scanned copy of the original, and it will include the page numbers. Now, why are page numbers important? Well, because we use them in our in-text citations, right? If we don't have those, then we might have paragraph numbers, and we would use those instead when we're using an HTML version, or possibly if we're using a website. So let me show you the difference between these two. With the HTML, here's what the source would look like. And you see I'm clicking on the HTML, not the title of the article, which isn't going to give us the article. I'm clicking on HTML. And here is the article. So it's just really the text from the article. It might show us, yep, there were some graphs, some figures in the original. We can't see them because this isn't a scanned copy of it, okay? It might tell us what's in them, it might not. And so it has all this information for us, but we're just reading it like it's a website, really, okay? It still has its references at the end, all of that. Another nice thing about this, about really anything in Academic Search Complete, is that you will probably have the option of being able to listen to the article if you would like to. And so, yeah, there we can listen to it. You can even listen to it with an Australian accent or a British accent. I think things always sound better when you can hear them with those accents. So that's what the HTML version looks like. And we can use our back arrow or our to go back to our search, or we can just click on the PDF full text since it's here for us. And you see why this is a better version when this opens, because this is the way it was printed in the source. So here we go, okay? And so here is the article with our page numbers. The pictures, the tables, all of that, charts, all of that information. And so if you have access to that, that is the preferred. You can see that. It's better to read because it's more engaging. So we're back to this page, to our search. Now again, you don't want to search on the name, click on the name of the article. You instead want to click on the full text. You can see that there are some videos that are available on that subject, and so you can access those. Let me show you now another tool that you can use here as you are looking at this. So let's click on this PDF full text and access this article. You see that along the right side of the page there are several different icons. So this, we'll save this to Google Drive. This will print it. This will let you email it to yourself. This will let you put it in a folder and save it to accumulate some different sources that you want to look at. But this one is my favorite. This looks like a sheet of paper. It's your works cited page, basically. If you click on this, it's the Cite button. And with that, you get to choose what citation format you want. And right now we are using MLA. We'll be using APA later on our the last version, a second version of our classical argument. So we can select this, right-click to copy it, come over into Word. Looks like I already have Word open, so let me open a new document. And I can paste this in. Now remember that I need to double space it, so I'm going to go to Home, and I'm going to change my spacing, make sure above and below is set at 0 points, set this on double spacing, tell it OK, type my title, and I want to come back and center that, but now I want to right click and choose to merge the formatting. Okay, this will copy it differently, this will get rid of the italics, so I want to merge the formatting. But now the problem with this is that it didn't keep the indentation. So let me show you what I have to do to be able to indent this with hanging indentation that MLA uses. I need to click at the end of the first line and hit enter. Many people think, well, oh, I'll just click here and I'll just tab. Well, no, you won't. No, you won't. You have to go to the end of the line and hit enter. Now you can tab, go to the end of the line, click, put your cursor, hit enter, and then tab, and do the same thing here. Go to the end of the line, put your cursor, click, and indent. And now I'll look back at it and make sure that everything is capitalized correctly and that everything looks good, and I have that piece done. Okay, then I would copy and paste my next one in. They need to be in alphabetical order based on what they begin with, the first major word. And so if it begins with a, an, or the, we don't use those in capitalization of titles, in alphabetizing titles. We would use the next major word to go on. All right. So sometimes when you copy and paste, the title will be in all caps, and you have to change that when you get over into Word and correct that. So you still have to look at it even though it is citing it for you. So I'm going to go back to my result list, and I would look for another source. Oh, I need to close this little page. Yeah, and then go back and see if I can find another source that I want to use. And again, I can click on it and email it to myself, and that way I have access to it outside of the library and can go from there. All right, now let me show you, come back to my library link. Let me show you an advantage to using opposing viewpoints. It's going to be very similar and yet is somewhat different. Your search would be pretty much the same once you get into the search engine. When you get to this first page, you can type in a topic if you want. But what I find as really valuable is, you see this little light bulb, browse issues, okay? That little light bulb, when you click on that, you get an entire page of topics. And so maybe you want to do something with police brutality. Maybe you want to do something with feminism, with politics and religion, with pollution, with fracking, with freedom of speech, with recycling, healthcare access, homeschooling, sexual orientation, interracial marriage, Social Security, stem cells. Look at this just unbelievable list. And this is not an exhaustive list, because you still can search for something else and see what you can find. But back on this start page, when we first came into opposing viewpoints, you can scroll down on the page, and they have already pulled out a couple of different topics. Ownership of exotic animals, okay? So because that's Tiger King, I guess, you know, the kind of a current interesting topic, current events. You can click to see that there are 3 different ones: quarantine and isolation measures, race relations. Okay, so those are 3 topics they pulled out. Then you can click to explore that, and what it will bring up is a set of sources on that topic. Excuse me. And you can see that they have already broken this into some Viewpoints articles, academic journals, biographies, audios, websites, viewpoints, infographics, news, primary sources. Okay, so it's already broken it down that way, and then gives you some of the titles that you can look at. And similarly to